Dead Draw Gaming. Like no one ever was.
You should just do the whole thing this week, Danny.
I would be like, hey guys, we're at an episode that's less than 90 and more than 88, and you are watching us live on Twitch. It's Twitch, right?
Yeah.
Boy, we've got an agenda for you folks. But first, let's talk to my co-hosts who are with me every single week. Dan, can you take over? This isn't me. I don't do this.
I thought it was good.
You let that go on way too long.
I did, yeah. All right. What's up, Dead Drawers, and welcome to episode number 89 of Dead Draw Gaming, a Pokemon TCG podcast like no one ever was. We have a stupid exciting episode for you guys today, so if you are hyped just like we are, make sure to hit that like button down below. Share this podcast with all your friends, but we are going to start today off in a new way with the DDG First Thoughts. Hello, Darren.
Hi, Dan. My very first thought of the day is, I got my goddamn league promos in. Yeah, buddy. Woo! Turns out the other league in Madison didn't get these. They got skipped. So I got the only ones in town. Yep. That's it. That's the only pack of Buzzballs in town. Bam.
Interesting.
Cool. First thought, done.
Danny, what's your first thought?
I don't think. Well, right now, I literally was doing the dishes before, and I was like, I know what I'm gonna think about tonight, and it was Twitter related. I was like, come follow me on Twitter, Danny__O, and then I was gonna subtweet while I was doing that, but now I forgot what my subtweet was going to be. I should have just posted it before. It was a good one too. Something about people doubting me or what I'm capable of, and then showing them wrong. I don't know what it was though. I need to put it eloquently. Also, I don't like rain. Rain isn't fun. Can't fish in the rain. You couldn't fish in the rain.
You can.
That's annoying. You can. It's just not fun to fish in the rain. That's my thought. That's my deepest thought of the night. Literally.
What are you
There's
going
something
fishing
in
for?
there's something in the agenda that should have deeper thoughts, but that's as deep as it's gonna get for me tonight. Dan, what are you thinking?
All right, you guys. My first thought is I am a prophet. It was either last week or 2 weeks ago. I said, you guys, all I want is a playable Shuckle. And boom, we'll talk about that in Pokemon news. But boom, we got it.
When you said prophet, I thought something completely different.
I want a Steelix GX. And then guess what? Boom, it's coming. Well, we don't know that for sure, but it's Dan-firmed. Steelix
and
GX.
before Steelix Prism Star.
Well, it wouldn't be a Prism Star because we got an Onyx.
Steelix GX Prism Star.
What?
You could still get a Steelix Prism Star.
It'd be a basic.
Yeah, you have Cosmog, and you have Solgaleo Prism Star.
Yeah, okay. Alright.
Yes!
Got it.
Got me, I guess.
Got him.
All right, perfect. Dan, what's your second thought?
The agenda is my second thought.
Heck yes, I love agendas.
Me too. And we're going to start this week off the same way we do every other week with our Pokemon news. Then we'll jump into a recap of the Sheffield regional that happened. Then we'll do a prelude of Mexico. And then, Papa, I hope you're sitting down because it is the return of the Dannybox. And then we're going to do our weekly top 5. And then the DDG mailbag. Make sure to go on Twitter right now and use the hashtag AskDDG to have your question answered live on this episode's podcast. This week's episode. Then we'll do the buy-sell trade of the week, our open discussion, and our wrap.
Did we say we were going to call it the mailbag?
No. We haven't come up with a good name for it.
I had no idea what to put.
Yeah, we don't have a good name for it yet. So we're just
We'll
going to
call it AskDDG.
Yeah.
That's so easy.
Like Ask Amy.
Ask the DDG bag of mail.
That's a different joke. I'm going to leave it there.
We got news.
Yes.
Talk some news.
Go, Darren.
All right. Thanks, Aaron. You did it. You did it, Aaron. That was the joke. All
I
right.
get it.
He's in chat. He's a good
Still
guy.
don't get it. I don't get what that means.
It's the Ask DDG bag. All right. We're gonna get through this news real quick today, you people,
We
dead
definitely won't.
guards. No, we're gonna try. We gotta cut these episodes down. We can't have all 2-hour episodes. This one we're gonna try to compact the news a little more. Aaron, you're welcome. I know you're happy about that. Tomorrow is June 21st, and Kyogre is leaving raids. So tomorrow is your last day to get them. If you're listening to this podcast, on iTunes and just listening with your ears and not your eyes because you're not on Twitch live with us, it might be too late because it's going away at 1 Pacific. It's being replaced with the Regirocks. So we got Regirock, Regice, Registeel. We don't know if they're all coming at the same time, but those are our next legendary raid Pokemon. They also have shiny sprites in the game, but we don't know if they're going to be shiny when they come. Next up, the next community day has been announced. It's going to be with Squirtle, and it's actually coming up fairly quickly, July 8th. July 8th is our next community day, so you're going to find many more Squirtles increased in the wild, 3-hour lure modules, a quarter egg hatch distance, special community day sales in the shop, and when you evolve into a Blastoise during community day, you will be able to learn an exclusive move, and through data mining, we're pretty sure it's Hydro Cannon. We don't know exactly what it does, but they just added a new move called Hydro Cannon. Pretty obvious it's going to be for the new Blastoise. This also will introduce the shiny forms of Squirtle, Wartortle, and Blastoise. And yes, going to be a great time. Finally, for Pokemon Go news, I have to talk about the gigantic APK teardown. This week, Pokemon Go is releasing patch 0.107.1, and it includes an incredible amount of stuff that people have been craving since the game came out, including trading and player reputation and friends lists. So, of course, first of all, let's talk a little bit about trading. It looks like you're going to be able to earn special badges for trading, as well as badges for going to GoFest and badges for increasing your friendship levels. Let's see. Also in this patch, there will be Alolan forms added with their shinies, so they should be coming out anytime within the next week. This is important to everyone. I know it is. A new loading screen is coming with the next release, so you don't have to keep looking at the current loading screen with Professor Willow. Is that his name? I don't remember.
Sure, we'll go with that.
It won't matter
Right?
until they bring back the one with Steelix.
What do you do, man? It's unlikely. Finally, a little bit more detail about trading. Let's see. Some of the rules that they've found in the APK include you and your friend have to be able to afford the trade, which is going to cost an immense amount of Stardust. We don't know the actual number. The pictures we got said 40,000. That might not be correct, but you also need to have both reached the lowest required level to trade. You have a daily trading limit, so you can only trade a certain number of times per day, and then Pokemon that can be traded cannot be mythical, cannot be slashed, whatever that means. They can't be your buddy. They can't be in a gym. They have to be fully healed, and they can't be in an egg. So you can't trade eggs.
Darren, can you trade me your good Pokemon for my bad Pokemon?
I might be able to trade you at least one or two of them, help you
Deal.
raid a little better.
Twitch, you heard it first.
I'm a
He
nice
agreed
guy.
to it.
I like to help friends. If it gets you out playing more, especially when we're together very infrequently, and we get to go do a raid or something, that would be amazing. It'd be totally worth it. The last two things I want to talk about are very quickly. Spinda is coming to the game, and it's going to have all the different Spinda forms. It's been a real hassle on the coding side, but it should be coming with every Spinda is basically different. And then finally, player reputations are coming. This is going to be on the game side, not on the user interface side. This is so that the game can tell, it'll be able to tag people as bots or spoofers. And apparently your reputation level can get worse. So if you're like a repeated spoofer, eventually your reputation level will just make it so you don't see anything ever, and they'll probably ban your account. Yeah. So there you go. With 20,000 lines of code changes in the next release for Pokemon Go, this is a big deal. This is a cornerstone release for the game. So if you're on the fence about playing anymore, give this new patch a try.
Should I
There you
try
go.
it right now?
That's Pokemon Go news.
Awesome. I've got a few non-TCG related news items and then one semi-TCG. I mean, it is TCG related, so I'll go over it quick before we go into the actual TCG related news. First of all, let's talk about the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon global missions. The 8th Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon global mission has finished in a success. This global mission's theme was to spend festival coins in the festival plaza, and it was a success at 47,661,005 festival coins spent. Since it was a success, the gift of 2,000 festival coins or 4,000 festival coins if the game is connected to a global link account is now available. The second thing I have for Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, for those of you in globally, the Shiny Zygarde event is due to end this week. In Europe and Oceania, this event is obtained on the Nintendo Network and will run until Friday. In North America, this event is through serial code obtained at GameStop in the US or EB Games in Canada. So get your Shiny Zygarde before it's too late. I'm not going to read all of those details. And then semi-finally, because I do have one TCG-related item, is Pokemon Quest. Ahead of its launch on the mobile later this month, pre-registration has gone up for the mobile game, Pokemon Quest, on the Google Play Store and iTunes. This game came out on the Nintendo Switch following its reveal last month, and we have been covering it in full since. This game is expected to be released on June 28th. So if you want to get Pokemon Quest on your mobile device, June 28th, about 8 days from now, so right after we record next week's podcast, it will be available. I'm sure that Dan will download it. I won't. Darren probably won't. But Dan probably will.
I definitely will. Dan firmed will download.
There we go.
I didn't even play Jumping Magikarp.
Magikarp Jump.
There you go.
That game was literally just a clicker. You literally didn't need to do anything but click.
Definitely Jumping Magikarp. That's what it's called.
Is this not a clicker? This next one, how do you interact with the screen?
I mean, I don't know.
Got him.
You know what you mean.
I do know what you mean.
All right. Finally, stream details have been announced for the Pokemon North American International Championships in Columbus, Ohio on July 6th through the 8th. The streams all run for all 3 games with commentators across the weekend. The VGC commentators are Adam Doricott, Scott Glazer, Doi Ha, Evan Lott, Gabby Snyder, and Aaron Zhang. I know Aaron. That's pretty much it. The TCG commentators are Georgia Goo, who I don't believe we've seen yet. Jeremy Jalen. She what?
She's from Australia, right? I think we saw her at the EUIC, or excuse me, OCIC.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Jose Roano, Kyle Sablehouse, Kyle Sukovich, Kenny Wisdom, and the Pokken Tournament DX commentators are Michael H2 Graff, Brendan Burnside Hansen, and D-Ron D1 Mingret. They all get nicknames and the others don't.
I love that they get nicknames.
Yeah, notable missing commentator is Jay Witz.
Where Jay Witz?
Not
Jay
commentating.
Witz is my favorite.
Looks like he's been replaced by Cora. Looks like Ross Gilbert is also not attending this one. But it should be good. Obviously, every time Puka commentates, I think that's like top of the line.
Yes. It's
Best
the
of
top
the best. Yeah, exactly. So that runs July 6th, 7th, and 8th. It starts on Friday, July 6th at 14:30 UTC time, which I believe is 5 hours ahead of us, which would put the start at 9:30 Central Time. And then Saturday, July 7th at 9 a.m. Central Time. Sunday, July 8th at 9 a.m. Central Time will be the final matches. I didn't look to see exactly how full internet is, but last time I did look, it was at like 70%. So it's getting full. It's getting very full. And I don't think anybody has any doubts that it will cap very soon.
Nice.
So that's coming up in a couple weeks. We'll talk about that. Maybe we'll do a draft. I don't know. We should do a draft for it, right? We did one last year.
We probably
won
should
that?
do a draft.
You guys remember who won that?
I remember who lost it.
Wow. We just talked about the winner. That was me. Cool. All right, Dan. Let's move into some. We got a lot of TCG leaks to report.
Do indeed. And I think the first one I want to talk about. We're not gonna go like super into them because Darren said it was gonna be a quick news section and it's been anything but that so far.
It's been pretty quick.
We got Sightseer from Thunderclap Spark. It is a supporter card that reveals draw cards from your deck until you have 5 cards in your hand. Before drawing, you may discard any number of cards from your hand. And the art on this is perfect, and I love it. And also, this card I don't think is very good.
I like this
I
card.
don't know. I don't think it's terrible in a world where you don't really have a whole lot of draw support. I think that there's probably better options, but there's definitely some areas where this could become valuable in, especially in Zoroark decks. I think that this makes sense as a 1 of or 2 of in some decks.
We're losing our only real discard draw, supporter. So this replaces your Sycamore. It only goes up to 5. I know that's not ideal, but it gives you the option to discard less. Is this better or worse than Sophocles?
Worse.
What? I think it's better. I mean, think of this in like Lapras. First of all, you could use it in Lapras. Aqua Patch onto your Laprases. What does Metagross GX do again? Wouldn't this be handy in that?
So, I mean, Sophocles would do both of the things also. And you'd be able to play it. Like, say you have 7 cards in your hand. Okay, here's 2 energies gone. Now you get to draw 4, and now you're at 9. Instead of having to discard, 6 cards.
So maybe it's situational.
I think if it was like up to 7, it would be totally different, or even up to 6. But up to 5 is just so. Nice.
5 is a low number. I agree. Oh well.
I don't think it's too bad.
No.
I mean, if you want to discard, I think it's better than Sophocles because it gives you the opportunity to discard more cards. Or what if you only have 1 card in your hand? What if all you have in your hand is a Sophocles and DCE? Then you're going to want to take advantage of the draw up to 5.
I mean, that's fair, but I feel like at that point, like, just play Octillery. Octillery will be
Can you do that?
Never mind.
In Standard? Oh, okay. All right,
Yeah.
so let's move on. I'm going to take the next leak if you guys don't mind.
Please do.
We've got Dialga. Dialga is a metal Pokemon, 130 HP basic. Its first attack for 1 metal, 2 colorless is time down, 60 damage. Devolve your opponent's active evolved Pokemon and put the highest stage evolution card into their hand. Second attack, metal, double colorless, is Power Blast. 130 damage, discard 1 energy attached to this Pokemon. Weak to fire, resists psychic, retreat cost of 2. Next up, we have Custom Catcher. This is a pretty cool card. It's an item. It says you may play 1 or 2 copies of this card at the same time. If you play 1 copy, draw cards from your deck until you have 3. Or if you play 2 copies, choose one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Blah, 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 blah. Choose one of your. Sorry. If you play 2 copies, choose one of your opponent's benched Pokemon and switch it with their active Pokemon. I love this card. I think that's really
This
good.
card is super good.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I also, Darren, can I ask you a question? And Dan, you might know the answer to this too. So if I'm playing Dialga, because I'm still kind of up in the air about Dialga, if I'm hitting um, a Lycanroc, let's say, with a
Mhm.
choice band on my Dialga, it does 90 damage,
Mm-hmm.
but then it devolves into um, Rockruff. Is
Mhm.
Rockruff taking that 90 damage, or
Yes.
what takes first?
Damage, then effects.
Okay,
Yep.
so Rockruff would be KO'd.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, then I don't mind Dialga at all.
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, people played Espeon. Granted, that was a lot less energy, and that was just to devolve. But I think hitting your opponent's active is. I mean, Zorik's a big attacker. Lycanroc's a decent attacker.
But I mean, there's not a lot of stage or basics or even stage ones that evolve into something like that have more than 90 HP.
No, there's not at all.
Not
I mean, unless you're playing something. The problem is that 60 used to be such a magic number for basics, and now it's getting to the point where it's not as much of a magic number anymore because there's, Froakie with 70 HP. There's 70 HP basics out there nowadays. So if you're hitting something that's not like if you're hitting I don't know, a Frogadier, like you're not knocking out that Froakie. Yeah,
right.
you'd have to play like a Kukui or something.
Ooh.
And 3 energy is a little bulky, but not terrible since one of them's a DCE. And you have metal, which lets you have some energy acceleration, I guess.
Mhm.
What I meant, I guess, when I said it, and I should have said it this way, is but there's not a lot of GXs, stage 1, stage 2 GXs that have basics that wouldn't be knocked out from this attack with the choice band. Like,
Yeah.
Silvally is the only one, right?
Greninja GX.
But if you hit it
You
for
wouldn't
90,
you wouldn't go down
Frogadier
you wouldn't
would
go
be
down
knocked
to
out.
its basic though. Yeah, that I don't know what Frogadier
80.
has for HP. I guess 80. Okay, then you'd be fine.
So knock it out.
Yeah, I think Type Null is like the only one that would live it with the choice band.
I think you're right.
Yeah, so you'd be fine. Gardevoir, Curly has only got 80, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, you'd hit
Seven.
weakness anyways.
Yeah.
Ah,
Custom
Psychic
Catcher I
Curly.
do like a lot too. I think that's a super cool card.
I agree.
Yeah, I think we got 2 winners here.
Agreed.
All right, I will take the next one. And I'm going to talk about Virizion GX because who doesn't like? Look how cute this little plant thing is. This plant dog, deer. Virizion GX is a basic. It's grass with HP of 170, which is underwhelming. For 1 colorless, it does double draw, where you draw 2 cards. For 2 grass, it does sensitive blade, which is 50 plus damage. If you played a supporter card during this turn, this attack does 80 more damage, so I like that. And then 1 colorless Breeze Away GX. Put any number of your Pokemon in play and all cards attached to put any number of your Pokemon in play and all cards attached to them into your hand. You can't use more than 1 GX attack in a game. Weak to fire, resistant to nothing, and a retreat cost of 1. I think this is an interesting GX card. Its HP is a little bit low. I think Sensitive Blade is pretty cool. It'd be cooler if it was a double colorless, but then it would be busted.
Yeah.
Breeze Away GX is interesting. Granted, you would probably only use this. You would use this when you have. I mean, it's an Acerola, right? You would use this when you have several cards that are damaged, probably. But yeah, Sensitive
just
Blade's
your
not bad.
Lele's.
Yep. Yeah, you could do that. And then we've got 2 more here. Electric Power, which is an item card. During this turn, your lightning Pokemon's attacks do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So it's nice to see some lightning support there. And then some additional lightning support is Thunder Mountain Prism Star. This is the attacks of each player's lightning Pokemon cost 1 lightning energy less. As long as this stadium is in play, whenever a player uses an item or supporter card from their hand, prevent all effects of those cards done to the stadium. This card stays in play when you play it. Discard this card if another stadium card comes into play. If another card with the same name comes into play, you can't play, or is in play, you can't play this card. There was some confusion, wasn't there, on the translation of this card?
Yeah, so when the first translation came out, it said that as long as this stadium is in play, whenever a player uses an item or supporter card from their hand, prevent all effects of those cards.
Yeah, and that's what this says. So
Well,
if
no,
somebody's
just those
playing
cards in general. And now it says those cards done to this
through
stadium.
this stadium,
Yeah, done
yeah,
to
so
this
they're playing
stadium
a
was not
field
there
blower.
before. So you can't field blower it, you can't delinquent it. The only way is to bump it with another stadium. But before, it was you literally cannot play items or supporter cards. So, like, before, this is like, holy, this is like super busted. Now it's just a little busted.
Yeah, I don't know. This is pretty busted in my mind.
Like, these are
Yeah.
the kinds of cards that I like. Like, when Prism Stars are this good, like, this is like, okay, this deserves to be a Prism Star. Like, this deserves to be a card that you can only have one of in your deck.
Mm-hmm.
And there are so many Prism Stars that are not that way. So it's nice to see one finally come out that's like, holy moly, this is good.
I am sad about the lightning support coming in to crush my wishy-washy deck.
Yeah, but we haven't had lightning support in how long? Like, what's
It's
the
been-
last?
It's time.
Vikavolt?
What's
No,
the
I
last
agree.
good lightning Pokemon that you've had? Don't say Vikavolt because that's just Bulu.
I
that's-
would say Circle Circuit.
Jolteon.
Raichu. I mean,
Jolt-
but Circle Circuit Raichu wasn't lightning. It was lightning, but you attacked for a DCE. Like, if I'm thinking like an actual good lightning Pokemon, I'm going back to like Mega Man, like
yeah,
Phantom
Mega
Forces
Electric.
era.
Jolteon, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Jolteon was
Jolteon.
good with its Flash Ray. Yeah,
That card was
And it's-
expensive for a minute.
yeah, in its
That
heyday.
was-
I don't know, like there are some cards that are coming out, or at least one card that's coming out where lightning support becomes a little bit relevant. But I think people are going to have to go back to the drawing board and actually look back at the lightning Pokemon that have been released, which at the top of my head, I can't think of a whole lot of them. Like Raichu GX. Like, have we had a lot of lightning GXs?
Coco, Raichu,
Poco becomes more relevant.
Electrode.
Yeah.
Alolan Golem.
Alolan Golem. I mean, it's nice. You have a Dimension Valley as a
Yes.
stadium
This is
here,
better
which
than
is pretty cool.
Dimension Valley. Because
It
it
is.
takes away the lightning cost and not the colorless cost.
Right, and it's a lot more difficult to get rid of. Like if you're playing a deck that doesn't rely on stadiums or doesn't
Yeah.
play a lot of stadiums. I mean, you're
Especially when
constantly.
Parallel goes out.
And then you
Yes.
have electric power as an item to. I mean, 30 more is a lot. Like you're not looking at. I mean, that's a choice band.
Yeah, electric power is really good.
Yes.
I'm excited about these cards. Shouldn't say excited, but I'm curious. I'm curious.
Curious.
All right, Dan.
Right.
Keep us going.
Oh my gosh, you guys. I talked about this card in the beginning of the episode, and now we're going to talk about it right meow. And that card is Shuckle. Shuckle is a 60 HP grass basic Pokemon with an ability called Juice Extractor that reads, once during your turn before you attack, when you play this card from your hand onto your bench, you may search your deck for up to 3 basic energy cards and discard them, then shuffle your deck. Has an attack, 1 grass energy drink. Attach 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile to your Pokemon in any way you like. It is weak to fire, has no resistance, and a retreat cost of 1. This card is busted. Holy moly, this is good.
It's very good.
It should be good.
It should be good.
It should be good.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I'm playing Malamar, and I just juice extracted 3 psychic energies into my discard pile. Boom,
Yep.
boom, boom.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to find the room in your decks to put this card in, but it should be good. I mean, in essence, I don't want to say anything's really good until it's actually been tested and played. I mean, you're gonna have to have a few of these in your deck so you don't start with it.
Having a few of it in your deck would be more likely to make you start with it. Plus, you just play Virizion GX and you breeze away. Easy mode.
I suppose. I really like this. I think it'll be useful in any deck that works from the discard pile. So Aqua Patch, Tropical Shake, our Twitter account. We got a Twitter shout out from
Yeah.
Bale Scala, I think it was. It said, "Here's a juice extractor for your Tropical Shake." It was very funny.
That's very clever.
Yes, and it works with the deck. It's so good. What else we got in this release?
We also have White Kyurem, 130 HP, water, basic Pokemon. 2 colorless energy, field crush does 30 damage. Discard your opponent's stadium, rest in peace, Thunder Mountain Prism Star, or whatever it's called. And then water, colorless, freezing flame does 80 plus damage. If this Pokemon has any fighter energy attached to it, this attack does 80 more damage. Not anything worth talking about here. Electivire, lightning type, 140 HP, stage 1, that evolves from Electabuzz. Colorless energy, Ela Charge. Search your deck for up to 2 lightning energy cards and attach them to this Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. And then its second attack, lightning, colorless. High voltage Knuckle does 190 damage. Discard 3 energy from this Pokemon. Weak to fighting, resistance to metal, retreat cost of 4. 190 damage is a lot of damage, but it's still weak to Buzzwole. I don't really think anything worth talking about here either. And then Onyx.
Hold on, wait. White Kyurem, you don't think there's anything to talk about?
With White Kyurem?
You think it's that bad?
I don't think it's... Where are you going with White Kyurem?
I mean, double Aqua Patch and attach a fighting, you're one-hit KOing just about everything.
With
For a
160?
basic? You can put your Shuckle in this deck, discard 2 water energies, turn 1, run Zoroarks, trade, hit your 2 Aqua energies, attach a Choice Band, you're hitting 190.
Water is missing a basic water attacker right now. Like, there's nothing
I
super
don't think
good.
this is that bad.
I don't hate it. Electivire is bad though.
I mean, you're looking at Lapras, for example, which is 3 water energy to do 160, and you can't attack next turn. And Lapras doesn't have a problem hitting off an attack turn 1 or turn 2. I don't know. To keep up with the prize trade, I think that this is halfway decent. I would test it. I don't think it's something to write off right away.
No, but I think it's the same reason that Ultra Necrozma is not super great. Having to rely on 2 energy to get all that damage up there is not great, and it never...
No, but Ultra Necrozma doesn't have Aqua Patch to help it out, first of all.
Well, it has Malamar.
Yeah, but it doesn't have Aqua Patch to help it out. And it's
Malamar
2
is
prize
better.
attacker. And it's 2 prize attacker.
All right. I mean, we'll see. I just don't think this is going to be any good.
I mean, you literally just talked about Shuckle and putting energy into your discard pile.
Yeah, that's busted.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that makes this card better, doesn't it?
Well,
I'm
it
just
doesn't
trying
make
to
it
understand
worse.
where you're coming from.
I just don't see this card being that great. Help me out,
Okay.
chat.
Help me out, Chad. Say, Danny makes sense.
All right,
Oh.
and then the other card we got here is Onyx. It's a fighting type 120 HP basic Pokemon, so this is not getting knocked out by Dialga when Steelix GX comes around. But it is 1 attack for 4 colorless energy, does 120 damage, weak to grass, no resistance, and a retreat cost of 4. Steelix GX, boys.
It needs something because Onyx is not good.
No, but 120 HP basic that evolves into a GX. Like, I was literally just talking about this. And you guys, Steelix GX is literally not anything but Dan-firmed at this point, so...
Which is pretty much the same thing as
Yeah.
confirmed.
Yeah. What about TPCI? I hear you.
This card is bad, except the art is great. Look at all them Diglets, man.
Actually,
look at them. That's so good. Just this Onyx sleeping underneath these Diglets. It's awesome.
Diglett dig, Diglett dig. Trio,
How's he getting
trio,
any sleep?
trio. What?
It's gotta be loud. How's he getting any sleep? It's gotta be super loud. All those Diglett digs. All right.
All right, Darren, talk about something else.
Moving on. Next thing I want to talk about is opening this up. We have a new Zeraora. It's a basic Pokemon, 120 HP, Lightning type, of course. Its first attack for 1 colorless energy, 20 damage. It's called Slash. It didn't matter what the attack's name is. It's a vanilla attack. Second attack, lightning, colorless, wild bolt. 120 damage. This Pokemon does 20 damage to itself, weak to fighting, resist metal, retreat cost of 1. All right, moving on. We have a new Pikachu. Lightning type, 60 HP basic Pokemon. It has an ability, Pika Guard. This Pokemon can't be paralyzed. That's pretty cute. It's a good looking card. There's nothing else worth. Yeah, there's really nothing else worth mentioning about that. Have we talked about this Zekrom GX before?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we have.
Yep.
We haven't?
I don't think
Okay.
so. No.
All right, Lightning, 180 HP basic. Zekrom GX. Its first attack for 1 colorless energy is Upper Bullet, 10 plus.
Oh, we did talk about this last week.
Yeah, we definitely talked about this.
Because its first
Okay.
attack is intensifying burn.
And its last attack, I'm sorry, in its last 200. So I'll just read it. Upper Bullet, 10 plus damage, 60 more if it's a GX or EX Pokemon. Thunderball, 3 lightning, 1 colorless, 80 plus damage, flip 2 coins. This attack does 60 more for each heads. And then Rampage Bolt GX is 3 lightning, 1 colorless, 200 damage. This attack's damage isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. There you go. But finally, the most important card from this leak is a brand new Energy Evolution Eevee. Yes. New Energy Evolution Eevee. It's I believe its attack lets you, what is it, draw a card or something? I don't know. But it's Energy Evolution Eevee. That's all you care about.
If that stadium was less, one less colorless energies, Zekrom would be busted.
Yeah, free attack. That'd be super good.
Free attack for 100. Even
Mhm.
now, like, it looks a little bit better if you have an item attached that does 30 more damage to any Pokemon. You're doing 100 damage for 1 energy. That makes it look a little bit better.
hmm
I'm still not over the moon for it, but
I think that one thing that, and I've said this once before, and it was with Electrode GX, but 5-band graphics have been stepping up their card art game with Zekrom here. I'm starting to like their work a lot more.
Yeah, it looks pretty decent.
So I don't typically like 5-band, but that's pretty good. So
All right.
Okay. Well, let's move on.
What else? Is that
We got-
just? I think there's one more.
We got a couple of small things that I can just gloss over quick, and I'll let Dan take the mag cargo. So we did get a new logo for Dragon Majesty, the Elite Trainer Box. It's been revealed. It reveals the set's logo design as well as the Elite Trainer Box's color scheme, which is a really vibrant purple and kind of like an aqua blue. It looks pretty cool. Dragon Majesty will be our special holiday set, whose booster packs only come inside special promo products. This set's Elite Trainer Box will come with 10 booster packs instead of the usual 8, like the ETB for Shining Legends last year. And it'll also include a never-before-seen foil of Naganadel GX, a promo card. That's cool. And then we've got a few more details for the Mega Charizard X versus Mega Blastoise Battle Arena decks. So this is going to hurt your Generations Mega Charizard value. Each of the 260-card decks will include 11 foil cards, including a foil M Charizard EX or M Blastoise EX, a foil Charizard EX or Blastoise EX, and 8 foil basic energy. The 11th card foil in each deck will likely be a special foil version of a card that was originally non-holo. The decks will come with the tournament-level trainer cards such as Bridget, Lysander, and Ultra Ball, which is pretty cool, even though Bridget has drastically dropped in price from about $7 down to $2.50-ish. Just like its Max Elixir friend. The product description does not mention exclusive cards or alternate artwork cards like some of the previous Battle Arena decks. Thus, the decks will entirely consist of reprints. Some past Battle Arena decks have included exclusive cards such as Karen or cards with new artwork like Professor Sycamore and Trainer's Mail. The decks will also come with usual trimmings, 2 metallic coins, 2 deck boxes, a 2-player playmat, a PTCGO code card, 2 sets of damage counters, and a quick guide that explains each deck's strategy. So these are a little bit better now. I don't think that when some of the last ones came out, they really destroyed VS Seeker's value. Obviously, you needed one for Karen if you wanted to play Karen. I don't think that these are going to be terrible investments, but with Bridget only going to be viable in expanded, you may just want to find alternative measures because the EX cards in here aren't playable. So it's not like you're getting a Keldeo, which you can actually use frequently in decks. You're getting Charizard and Blastoise, which are lovely Pokemon, but never ever played.
That's very true.
Unless it's alongside an Archie's. So, Dan, you want to take the last one?
Heck yeah, I want to take the last one, you guys. Magcargo GX. Magcargo GX is a Stage 1 Fire-type Pokemon that evolves from Slugma with 210 HP, has an ability called Crush Charge. Once during your turn before you attack, you may discard the top card from your deck. If that card is a basic energy card, attach it to one of your Pokemon. Has 2 attacks. First attack, Fire colors. Lava Flow does 50 plus damage. You may discard any number of basic energy cards from this Pokemon. This deck does 50 more damage for each card discarded in that way. Magma Burn. Its GX attack. 1 fire energy. Discard the top 5 cards from your opponent's deck. Weak to water. No resistance. Or a retreat cost of 3. This is kind of cool.
Very interesting.
I mean, you just Kiawe turn 1 onto Slugma and hope you don't get knocked out, right?
That's one option. I don't know. This seems pretty interesting. I feel like the fact that you can discard the energy and attach it to any of your Pokemon, not just make Cargo, that's kind of sweet.
Yeah, pair it with like Mallow or something.
Yeah, right? Could be cool.
I think I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not
Do Mallow,
impressed.
2 fire energies, boom boom. There's 2 energies. Attach for the turn.
Yeah, I just don't like to.
Talked about.
I don't want to be discarding. You'd have to run it with a lot of energy.
Just
I mean-
typical fire decks.
Yeah. Typhlosion was better.
Yeah. Actually, I agree.
I won't disagree.
Okay.
That's all I
All
got
right.
for news.
That's it. News done. I'm glad we did that quickly. Otherwise, that would have taken all night.
Cool.
Oh, bam.
Bada bing, bada boom. Let's move on to what do we got next, Dan?
Sheffield regionals.
Yeah, that happened over the weekend. I didn't really get to watch any of the stream because number one, I was out of town with very poor service, and number two, it started a lot earlier than I like to wake up in the morning.
That makes sense.
I'll be completely honest. Did you guys get to check out any of the stream at all?
No.
That
Fair
time
enough.
change.
Yeah. About 8-hour difference. I think it started around 3 a.m. Central Time, so that would have been pretty early. But we still had a tournament that went on, and a deck named Buzzwole did not win and was not even in the finals.
That's right.
There you go. We talked about the differences in metas, and while the meta was still pretty similar, it was a little different. So we had a top 8 of 3 Buzzwole decks, and then you had an Espeon Garbodor deck, you had 2 Malamar decks, and you had 1 Zoroark deck. And the winner of it all was Zoroark. Oh, you had 2 Zoroark decks. Seb Siemens went in as the 8th seed and took it down with Zoroark.
Yes, very cool. Very cool. I'm glad to see, an Espeon Garbodor in here, and also to see that Torrid Reclive didn't play Zoroark and still made top 8. That's pretty cool. One notable thing, there is only one U.S. player that made day 2, and it was Frank Diaz at number 11.
There wasn't a whole lot of U.S. players that made the trip over there this time, I think. I know one of our players, Frank Persick, was supposed to go,
F.
actually got all the way to New York, and I mean, forgot his passport. We'll just say what happened. Why not? Something went
Oops.
wrong, like a passport that you need to travel, and he did everything that he could to try and get the passport over to him in New York, but it just ended up being a little bit too late, and that was that. Ended up missing out. So, Sheffield was a little bit different than what we expected, I guess, because it wasn't Buzzwole in the finals. But for the most part, day two was made up of, wow, was there a lot of Zoroarks.
Mm-hmm.
It was Zoroark, it was Malamar, and it was Buzzwole. And other than that, you had one Golisopod.
2.
Well, you had one that was paired up with Garbodor, and
Yep.
one that was paired up with Zoroark. So, you had one where the main attacker, I guess, was more just Golisopod. Then you had the Espeon Garb, which probably just feasted off of um, Buzzwole decks all day. You had a Lapras make it, and then you had a Sylveon GX make it. Other than that, it is the same meta you have seen for a very long time, unfortunately. Malamar is obviously new to the game, being that it was just recently released in Forbidden Light, and it's nice to see that making a little bit of a presence. Obviously, it fares off well against Buzzwole decks, but ultimately, you still had, the same finish. It's been Buzzwole Zoroark for a long time, with the exception of one time where it was SB Garb. Other than that, it's been Buzzwole Zoroark running away with the meta.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of gives you a good idea of what we're going to be able to expect this weekend down in Mexico as a regional. And we do
Yes.
have a couple of players down there. Ryan Bruckner and Caleb Gedimer are down in Mexico right now. We wish them the best of luck this weekend. They both played in the special event last week, and Caleb finished second. Ryan Bruckner took top 8 and earned enough points to qualify for Worlds.
Woo! Awesome. Heck yeah! Woo!
So I think that brings up a lot um, of our players that are in qualification now for Worlds, doesn't it? The
That
majority of
puts
our
us
players are there.
at. Let's see.
Big ol' list. So last I had heard we had just like what, one or two that were still sub 400.
Let me look here. I'm trying to pull it up.
We got
Look,
1,
it's
2,
on our
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 of our players are going to be playing at Worlds as of right now.
Confirmed. Yeah, and we have two people who are super close.
Yeah, this is incorrect. Chris is at 370. Brian's at 370. So two of them 30 points away, which I fully expect they'll both get it.
Yeah, they have cups yet, this weekend, next weekend, and then an AIC.
Mm-hmm.
So they're 30 points away. I guess if they had to, they could probably get League Challenge if they could find one of those. But I mean, that's wow. Wow. I mean, that's insane. We probably should have put that on the screen. Whoops. Well, it breaks that news a little bit, but
Just
yeah.
at least 16 of our biggest fans.
Yes.
Not that the Facebook page wouldn't have said anything.
That's true. So holy cow, Caleb at 2,050 points now.
Yeah, you
That's
guys
incredible.
need any invites? Caleb has 5.
Yeah, Caleb can borrow points to people and still be in top 16, I think.
I think only 3 people have over 2,000 in the world right now. I think it's just him, Tord, and Azul.
Yeah, some fun facts about Worlds. There are currently 206 U.S. and Canada, 200 in Europe, and 106 Latin American, and then 48 from Oceania that are all qualified right now. So that's 406, 506, 512, 552, 560, 560 right now with what, 3 weeks left still?
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at probably between 600 and 700 world's players this year.
That's a lot.
With how many get day two? So
16.
it's going to be like,
well,
16 from
it's
US
like-
and Canada,
and then 22
it'll be like
from
40.
EU. I think
40 to 50 that get automatic day two
I think it's
passes.
8 from Oceania, and then I don't know about how many from Japan. Because they do everything differently there.
Yeah.
That's a
So,
crazy amount.
yeah.
Do you remember how many people were qualified last year?
I can look.
I don't remember.
LimitlessTCG.com. Tournaments.
Yeah, I think that the tournament that we just had in Sheffield is a good barometer for what we're going to see in Mexico this
Wow.
upcoming week.
So according to Limitless, World Championships 2017, August 19th, 2017, 130 Masters, Primal Clash to Burning Shadows.
What?
130.
I don't think that's right.
Maybe 130 European? That seems low.
That's what it
Seems
says.
very low.
Huh.
Yeah, I think that's low.
Regardless, I mean, it's way bigger this year.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, I don't think we have a whole lot that we need to necessarily talk about because the meta just has been the same all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what do we say that hasn't already been said?
Seems like the same
Does
thing
Promo
every week,
Mewtwo
doesn't it?
have like something huge to show in Mexico or no?
I think Promo Mewtwo's gonna be good. I mean, it's definitely a good card, but there seems to be some controversial opinions on whether that should be played or Dawn Wings should be played.
Hoopa.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we'll see. But I guess it's I didn't see any information about streaming. I would assume that it's streamed somewhere, so we'll pay attention for that and release that information as it comes. But with that, I think we can move on and we can. What's our next topic?
Do you need to check your
Oh.
basement?
No.
Okay.
Our next topic is all about you standing on your soapbox, the Dannybox.
The
I don't-
Dannybox.
You are
Oh.
soap.
I have to get in position for this. Shake it off a little bit. It's been a long time since we've done one of these, and I probably have a little bit of rust that's going to come out here. So,
Doubt.
but there's some things that kind of go on my mind and things that I think about, on a regular basis that are worth bringing up, I think. But I guess we'll just jump into it a little bit. For a long time, we have been talking about Dead Draw Gaming as a brand. So we started out as a simple card store when Dan and I were talking a couple of years ago. We're like, hey, let's sell cards. Let's target competitive players. We really just want to focus on buying cards at a low price, selling them at a low price, and then kind of building a business off of that. But we never really talked about brands. And we never really talked about evolving into something bigger. So we started out as a simple card store, and then eventually we started trying to evolve into something bigger and something that's more unique. A lot of this has started with ideas from other successful entrepreneurs, and a lot of this has come from trying new things and failing. There are so many different things that we discuss in this business. We don't want to be your typical card shop. We brainstorm and analyze every day different modules and ideas and what we think could catch on to be successful. And I honestly think that some of our problem is that we spend too much time thinking and not enough time acting. But if there's one thing that I do know about developing a brand, it's that you can't do it alone. Networking is extremely important in this business and in any business for that matter. I used to be under the impression myself personally that if I wanted to grow fast, I should just go at it alone. I felt I could outwork others, just work harder than other people. I felt like I could be more efficient, take more on. And while that may hold true today still, I let my cockiness and arrogance get the best of me from time to time. I have definitely come to the rationalization now that if I want to grow far and not just fast, I have to go along with others. The richest people and most successful companies in the world look for networks. All the other people in businesses look for work. This is the idea that we really need to start transforming our ideologies on. The opposite of networking is not working. The idea of networking goes hand in hand with brand development, which is what I was just talking about before, because networking means nothing without respect. To earn this respect, we need to do a better job of caring and interacting. We need to involve ourselves and immerse ourselves in the lives of others to get them to understand our passions and our dreams. Without earning respect, our brand will fail to grow. Now, while I think we've done a good job on starting to develop a brand, I think that there's a long way that we can go. And there's been a lot of instances and a lot of stories in the past where brands have become successful. And one of them, for example, is Airbnb, which we've talked about very, very rarely, but it's something that a lot of competitive players use to get to events and save a little bit of money. For anyone not yet familiar with Airbnb, it's an online marketplace where homeowners can offer their property or part of it for rent, and then travelers then use the site, Airbnb, to book a stay in their home, or at least that's the general idea. Today, the site has a lot more than just private homeowners. Many hotels offer rooms for rent via the site too, and you won't just find places to stay either. The company now provides a space for hosts to offer experiences and places to eat. So it's evolved quite a bit over time. Um, and they haven't done it on their own at all. So you don't see Airbnb offer a whole lot of commercials or advertisements or stuff like that. What they do is instead of telling their own company stories, they get their customers to tell stories. This is so important to Airbnb that they had like this whole section dedicated called Stories from the Airbnb Community. So what this was, they launched this big campaign called Belong Anywhere, and it was this rebranding campaign using imagery and short films to offer a snapshot into the lives of Airbnb hosts and what a guest might expect a stay with them to be like. It moved the brand away from the business of houses and rooms to the business of home and experiencing a place like a local. And these stories were what were key. And the company used this Belong Anywhere approach to raise more than $1 million for refugees throughout the USA, which is absolutely insane. By positioning their customer at the center of the brand and, in fact, letting the customer be the brand, it's essential to the Airbnb philosophy. And I think that's super important and something that we definitely need to start looking into as our own company. While we can sit here and advertise Dead Draw Gaming all the time, any business is going to be more successful letting other people sell their brand for them. And you've heard, I'm sure you guys have heard before, the ideas behind if somebody has a bad experience, they tell 7 people who tell 7 people who tell 7 people. And the same goes for a good experience, except typically they tell less people, so they'll tell 3 people. So we've got to reach one person, give them a good experience, and then they'll start telling 3 people. And we've had this before where we've had a good experience with some people who have told other people, and they've come to us and said, hey, I got recommended to you guys by this person. And I think that's something that we really need to start capitalizing more on and interacting more with our customers, whether it be utilizing our team or utilizing our thoughts, our business strategies, or whatever we've been doing. Get that information out there and really start relating to our customer base and start developing that brand, because we always talk about how we want to be unique and like nobody ever was before and bigger and better. But I think that we're still missing in what we're capable of doing. And I think that like branding ourselves and networking to utilize those relationships is what's really going to take us to that next level. Attending events, meeting organizers, meeting different companies, meeting different players, meeting different collectors, casual players, utilizing our outreach through Twitch or through the internet, and just talking to people, figuring it out what it is that they want, not necessarily looking for their strategies, but looking for, what their interests are, so we can relate and fine tune our strategies to attract to those interests. And I think that's important for anybody who's looking at getting into a business or looking at somebody who's just looking to improve as an individual or a person. Like, um, making an impact on other people's lives and caring is so important. And the best way to do that is through networking and identifying your brand. That's kind of where I'm at this week and what I've been thinking a lot about recently. So I kind of wanted to get your take on what networking and branding means to you guys and how we can improve that as a company.
So networking, branding, obviously extremely important when you're working with social media. Uh, Going forward, I think what you said about Airbnb using their customers' stories to create a community experience, to create a local experience, I think that's something that we could incorporate with Dead Draw Gaming. We could, I don't know, this is just spitballing. Maybe we could do something like our community, our Dead Drawers, could tell us about their favorite deck or tell us about their tournaments this weekend, and we can have like a weekly thread somewhere, and then everyone can share their stories there, and then we can read from that once a month or something on our podcast. I think that would be a lot of fun, and it'd give people time to read each other's stories and potentially have a couple thousand people listen to it over the airwaves. But like I said, just a spitball. I mean, there's a lot of options out there. A lot. I mean, there's a lot of things that we can do to be better at networking, making sure that we're always presenting ourselves uh, in a likable but also professional manner. That's really important to a brand, especially to someone like us growing. And then I don't know, just always always going out of your way to help a customer. So since I've taken over code sales, I've had I've every once in a while you'll buy codes from someone, and then whenever you buy codes from a person, you just have to trust that they're not going to use them after you buy them. Well, we had an instance last weekend where I sent someone some codes and some of them had already been used, and it happens every once in a while, and I try to catch them before it happens, right? I try to check every code when it comes in, but like you can't check them constantly, right? It's impossible. So the guy messaged me and he's like, "Hey, not really happy." And I did everything I could to make sure I did everything I could to make sure that this guy could have a positive experience out of this potentially negative one. And I think just the fact that he walked away saying thank you, hopefully I did a good job, good enough job. There you go. That's just an example of how customer service, networking, and branding all kind of go hand in hand. Dan, what are your thoughts on networking and branding going forward?
So I can't say necessarily about going forward for sure, but what I can say is, I mean, look at how much networking and branding we've had to do so far to be able to do the things that we've done, and I think that it's something that doesn't get talked about a lot. We do say a lot of thank yous to the people that do this, but I mean, imagine if we weren't networking like at all. Who does our stream for us 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago? No, like us, we do it, but who runs it for us, right? No one. We have to do it because there is no stream. You network with guys like Papa and Aaron and Cliffy, and suddenly, you're in a super good position. And Team DDG, networking with those guys. It's not like we just went to a bunch of random people and said, hey, wear our t shirts, be on our team. It was networking with players through the community. And that kind of thing is like just what we have to keep working on. But Danny mentioned it too, is like we can't keep relying on the same relationships over and over. The more relationships you have, the better things are going to be. So reaching out to more TOs, reaching out to more creators, reaching out to more players. Ultimately, the more opportunities we have, whether we take them or not, will ultimately drive our success.
One thing I wanted to build on, uh, let's see, how do I want to say this? See, when we're live, I don't have time to just think about what I want to say.
Nice.
I have to pretend I'm quick-witted. I wanted to say that now more than ever, especially in the entertainment business with YouTube, Twitch, every social media outlet trying to get into video and gaming and all of this, it's more than ever who you know more than what you know.
Mm-hmm.
You could be, I mean, you could have a degree in streaming. Like you can earn a degree in esports now. It doesn't mean anything if nobody likes you. It doesn't mean anything if you're not personable and you have no connections in the esports world. Like you can build a Twitch channel and it can be beautiful. You can dump money into it, dump time into it, but no one's going to come if you don't have the right friends. And so in this crazy competitive world, more than ever, you have to appreciate the people that are there for you and you have to make as many connections as possible.
Yeah, I think it's really important to remember that no matter what you're doing, while it might be like Dead Draw Gaming, we're trying to create something different, it doesn't mean that what we're creating hasn't been done before or hasn't been attempted before, or segments of our business haven't been done before or haven't been attempted before. There's mentors out there and there's people out there who have done something that you're looking to do, to a certain aspect, whether it be you're looking, for somebody to help you grow your business or your brand or your name, or, it could be a sports related thing, or you're looking to get better at a musical instrument or whatever the case may be. There's people out there, and networking with them to rely on them to make you better is super important. Ultimately, it's about being a good person, about being an ethical person, about being a moral person, and just growing yourself, because you can rely on other people to take you places much bigger than you can take yourself. And that's kind of what I was talking about before when, yeah, I think highly of myself, and I know it can be cocky sometimes, but I think that I can do a good job and I can outwork a lot of people, but that doesn't mean that I can go further by myself, because I can't. I have to rely, like, time is at a minimum all the time. Like there has to be other people that I can lean on or talk to help me grow. And if I don't network with those people, then I'm gonna miss out, and I'm not gonna get to the point where I want to get to. Like, we need to get to a certain point where we all feel comfortable and we can be like, hey, you know what? This is finally started. This is finally happening. We can put, all of our time a week into this. We can make this work. But without those extra people, it's not happening. So we need to rely on networks and we need to rely on a brand that we're creating. And since we focused on it early enough where we started almost from our infancy at creating a brand and associating Dead Draw Gaming with something bigger than just a card store, we've got a good foot in the door with that already, but we still have a long way to go. And I think we did establish, like Dan said, some really good relationships. And while it's important to continue to foster those relationships and work with them, it's also equally important to start opening up new doors and start meeting new people and start getting more ideas from people that we respect in the community and people that we've learned are, names in the community that are important to help us grow even further. Because the only way we're going to be able to get further is by heeding advice and taking advantage of certain situations. So we need to capitalize basically on every single opportunity that's out there that is, presented to us right now. And a lot of that's going to be us relying on relationships that we meet.
Perfect. I agree.
Awesome. Anything else that we want to discuss in the box that is Danny?
Now I think all three of us are on the exact same page here. Now it's just execution.
Yep.
Get her done.
Get her done.
100.
Cool. Well, then we can move on to our insert Dan singing.
Weekly top 5. I did not prepare myself
Yeah.
for this at all. Darren and I were trying to figure out some audio stuff, and I did not. All right.
Yes. So top 5 cards worth investing in now.
Yikes.
Number 5. Darren, why don't you go ahead and start? Okay. Number 5. I'm just gonna say Wishy Washy GX 5 times.
Cool.
No,
Maybe just once though.
just once. We're sold out of Wishy Washy GX. Anyway, sorry.
Oof.
Yes, Wishy Washy GX is my number 5.
Dan?
Wishful Baton.
Wishful Baton.
Oh, interesting.
I'm gonna go with Metagross GX as my number 5 investment for right now. Right now it's a bulk GX. You can buy it probably for $1.50 to $2.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Number 4 for me, along those same lines with the leaks that we just got for a set coming out. Now might be the time to pick up those Tapu Koko GX. Number 4, Tapu Koko GX.
Number 4. This is a card most people have already invested in, but probably worth picking up a few more. Malamar.
One of you had my choice for number 4. My number 4 is also Malamar. Tapu Koko I did consider, and I don't think it's a terrible investment. The only issue I have with it is that it was printed like 10 million times because it's in as promos too. So I think that it's going to be somewhat plentiful in the market still, even though that it might become playable.
Haha. Yes. It was a test.
It was, yes. Darren, what's your number 3?
Oh, sadness. Sadness and despair is my number 3. No. Number 3 for me. I think that I don't know very much about what are the best 5 cards to invest in for Pokemon. So I only thought of 2. So I'm just going to pass the baton.
You can just copy me on my 3.
All right. How about? Well, it's tough. I'm trying to think.
Will you stop?
They giving away your answers?
Yes.
Nestball's a good one. Darren, say Nestball. That's a good one.
I think number 3, I'm going to say Nest Ball.
Nice.
My number 3 is somewhat similar, but was actually Timer Ball.
Okay.
Really?
Timer Ball. Because we lose Evo Soda, and I think Timer Ball could be huge.
My number 3 is Guzma. You can get them right now for roughly $2.50 a piece, $2 if you look really hard. I can see a good profit margin in that in the future coming up. Unless they announce a reprint. Got to look out for those reprints.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
I'm surprised we haven't got one yet, honestly.
I am too. That's why I've been hesitant to load up massively on it, because I mean even Lysander in its heyday was still going for $1, $1.50, even though it was printed several times and very common. Guzma was
It was only
an
printed
uncommon
twice, right?
Ancient Origins, but it was also in battle decks
Yeah.
and things like that, which made it more accessible.
Right.
And Ancient Origins was a massively produced set.
Mm-hmm.
With not a lot of cards.
Yeah.
What's your number 2, Darren?
It's back to me. All right, back to me. I'm just gonna talk to chat here and say Acerola. No, I'm not gonna talk to chat. I'm gonna say Acerola coming in hot. That full art Acerola is already worth a lot, and I think it's just gonna go up. Very, very good card,
It is
and
good.
it's very cute.
Isn't Acerola getting reprinted?
Is it?
I don't know about that. But chat, can we stop with Switch?
I don't think Secret Rare Switch is going to go up in price that much, just because it's already got a Secret Rare that was printed a lot. I'm sorry.
That has been printed literally 30 times. Like,
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere in price. My number 2 is Nest Ball.
My number 2 is Cynthia, basically for the same reason that Guzma. Cynthia's only printed once. Ultra Prism was a super underproduced set and is currently out of print. I see that I think it's going to go up in price because it's not going to be as readily available, and with no draw support in the format, really, it's just going to continue to decline. All right, Darren, what's your number 1?
I really like a skateboard. I know they've said it a couple times in chat, but I really do agree. A skateboard is super good, and it has a cute secret rare. It's really
Does
cute.
have a cute secret rare.
Number 1, Cynthia.
Good call. My number 1 is Lele. You see a huge drop right now in prices. Like Darren was talking about Acerola before. Acerola was like a $32, $33 card 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, and then it dropped to a $28 card 3 weeks ago, and now it's down to like 23. The full art is super attractive. It's a really cool card. I think people continue to lean more towards regular arts because a lot of these like super high-end full art trainers and secret rares are just getting priced out. My number 1 is Lele because it's the same thing that's happening right now. Supporters are going to be, this is the way that you search for supporters. Lele has dropped down. You can find them for $25 to $30 if you look hard enough. I'm just going off of basic history because of how Shaman has done in the past, where you run into NAIC time, Worlds time, you get this collapse where everybody's selling off their Leles because they're not going to play next season. Then they decide, oh wait, I do want to play. Okay, I've got to get all these Leles back. You get a lot of people who come back in. You get a lot of people who didn't go for their invite last year who decide, okay, this year I'm going to go for it. Leles, I think, are just the safest bet because if you can get them for $27, $28, after August rolls around, they'll be around $45 again, and then that's a very good margin. That's my own personal opinion. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily take my advice because what do I know?
So, Danny, out of the three of us, whose advice would you take?
I would take mine.
Your advice. Yes.
I would take mine. But that's just because that's what I do. I look at prices a lot. I mean, there was some good things like Fan Club. Yeah, that could be a good card, but it's been printed a million times. So Fan Clubs are super easy to find. Copycat, same thing. Could be a good card to invest in, but I wouldn't invest in those old copycats because they're more expensive now, and people will just play the cheaper one when it comes out. Secret Rare Switch, I already kind of went over. There's a lot of other ways in the format that you can switch out people. Nest Balls, I do agree with, is going to be pretty decent. But ultimately, Ultra Ball is going to be played, so it depends on what kind of search engine you need. I don't know. I think that there's a lot of good decisions here. I don't think that you would lose money with anything. Zoroark, you have to assume Zoroark's not going to get any cheaper than what it is. I mean, you can buy Zoroark for $7 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Those Shining Legends packs are pretty much nowhere to be seen anymore, so it's going to be a lot harder to pull. But it just seems like the world has so many Zoroarks, and I don't know how. I don't see it going up to like
that's part of the reason I
$15.
didn't mention Zoroark, is like everyone's already invested in them.
Yeah, and if they're not, like they're going to be right now because it's a $7 card.
Yeah. I think that one important thing too is like I don't think any of us said anything wrong necessarily. Right?
No. And the thing is like you're kind of playing guessing games right now when you talk about finances like this because you don't know what's going to be good post rotation. It's great because we actually know what rotation is, but you have another set that comes out. You don't know exactly what's going to be good. And I just think 2 years ago when rotation hit and everybody was in complete arms about what was going to be good, where Mega Mewtwo shot up in price and I mean, this was right after Steam Siege released. Everything jumped up in price. Nobody knew what to play. Scizor was expensive. Sceptile was expensive. All these cards where people were finally making things work at cups. Every cup was a different result. So everybody was just going in chaos trying to get these cards. And then finally they found out, well, it's probably just Night March. So, I mean, I think your safest bets are going to be cards that are low printed, like Cynthia, like Lele was mass produced, but Guardians Rising's basically out of print now, so it's going to be harder to pull. Guzma's only been printed once. Those are safe bets. Nestball's a safe bet. I mean, it's a quarter card. If it goes up to 75 cents, boom, there's your profit right there. Or Oranguru, that's a good card. That Plan just said. I mean, yeah, Oranguru, you lose your draw engine, you lose artillery. So if you can pick them up for $1, I mean, it can go up to a $3, $4 card. That card wasn't printed a whole lot. It had a promo and it had Sun and Moon.
Well, the promo was a pre-release promo, so it's not like there's a ton of them.
I thought it had another one too. It was in the deck exclusives as a non-holo.
Maybe.
Yes.
I know for a fact it was.
Haha.
But I'm gonna get way too passionate about this. I could talk about this literally all day, and I would bore everybody in the chat. So we can move on to our mailbag.
Mailbag. Oh,
Darren,
Darren's
you gotta-
got to come up with a new song now.
Yeah, Darren's gonna
Yeah. The DDG mailbag. That's what we're gonna do. Let's do it.
That's not a song.
Spoken word. You tell Will Shatner that's not a song.
On it.
Will Shatner.
It's what you call him when you're friends with the guy.
I got his phone number.
All right. On Twitter, our new thing now, instead of question of the week, is the DDG mailbag or Ask DDG. All you got to do is head over to Twitter, use the hashtag AskDDG. That's where I'm going right now, and I'm going to pick a few, and we are going to answer them. Gosh, that just sounds like a lot of fun.
It does sound like a lot of fun.
All right, so let's type in hashtag AskDDG. Here we go. Let's start off with Ryan Hebert. Ryan asked a few questions here, so let's just pick one of them for now. Let's pick, does the next set have any promising decks in the making?
Yes.
Boy,
Yeah.
boy, it sure does.
I know that people are really excited about Rayquaza, and I'm excited about Rayquaza, but I think there's other cards in the set that are definitely playable and will be worth testing around. Like, I'm super excited about Mr. Mime GX. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily going to be a great Tier 1 deck, but I think it could be something that's fun to play at a League Cup and something that you could make semi-competitive, especially with the loss of a lot of switching power.
As long as the gym promo Wishy Washy comes in the next set, I am so hyped on Wishy Washy GX. We don't have, it's not confirmed in the next set because it was a gym promo, but it really should come out in the next one. So I'm very excited for that. That's my number one deck, of course. It's the only one that I care about. Now, if that Wishy Washy gets pushed back to Thunderclap Spark, whenever that comes out over here, I'm gonna cry years of tears.
Or at least months.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still think, what is that?
Steven's guidance.
Steven's guidance. I think that's interesting. Dragonite could see some play, I guess. Electrode could see some play. I think there's some decent cards in the set. I would say it's probably, in my opinion, comparable to Forbidden Light as far as playability goes.
So, Ariados, Salidos, Rayquaza, Mimes. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Salidos, Rayquaza, Mimes. Those are my 3. There's actually a lot of there's actually a lot of like rare cards, like just regular rares that are going to be coming out in this set that I think have a lot of like I don't think they're going to be like good at tournaments, but they're going to be super fun like PTCGO decks or something fun to play at league challenges and league cups, but nothing I would take like higher. But just a lot of like really fun things that will like have potential to be good, and Ariados is one of those, so I'm pretty excited for it. Just the set in general. Worlds is going to be pretty nutty. So
And it always is every year with that one set that comes out, right before Worlds. It always throws a kink in a lot of people's plans because you're always assuming, well, Buzzwell's going to be the deck to beat, Zoroark's going to be the deck to beat, and now all of a sudden you get this new set that comes out where people are like, do I really want to try something brand spanking new? It's worked in the past for people.
Gardevoir.
Yanmega.
Yeah.
The last 2 years. There's been a deck that's won that's relied on the newest set. Gardevoir was a little different because you knew that card was busted in the format as soon as it came out.
They're just brand new.
Yeah, it's still something where you're not necessarily going to be comfortable. If you're somebody who's been playing Buzzwell for the last 6 months, you have all this comfortability with that deck. I mean, it's hard to just pick up a new set and be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got, Darren?
All right. The next question that we had, let's see, where did it go? Oh boy. All right. One moment. We lost it. Give me a second. Twitter, what are you doing? Yeah. Okay. So the next one comes from Papa Blastoise.
I know that
Even
guy.
though he didn't use the hashtag. He didn't use the hashtag, but we're still going to answer. We're still going to ask his question. Every business owner has to set goals to push for. This being said, I would love to hear what each one of you have set for goals, both personal and also for your business for this next year. So this year's our all in 2018. We have a lot of goals, and we've been working really hard, but unfortunately, a lot of them involve things that aren't concrete yet, so we can't talk about a lot of the stuff that we're planning. Personally, as far as goals go, Pokemon wise, I really want to get at least league challenges at my Pokemon League by the end of the year. And boy, I don't know. I don't know. I have like a lot of goals, but it's just none of them are really. I just can't really talk about them yet. Sub goals. I mean, we want to be to 2,000 subs on YouTube. That's an easy one. It's coming. We want to be there ASAP. But otherwise, I don't know. Dan, you want to take the reins?
Holy cow. Yeah, I've got a lot of goals. So I want to attend more events. Like, that's a big deal to me. Like, be able to go to additional events, that deals with networking and things like that and growing the brand. I want to get every card up on the website. And that is, wow, is that a project in itself? The studio is still a complete disaster with a lot of work that needs to be done, but a lot of the time that I've had has been spent organizing cards because after you get home from Madison, it's just a giant mess again. You basically have to go through everything again. So like last night, I'm sitting down and just separating trainers from Mons. Like that's what I did, and it took me like 3 hours just to do that. And then going through everything and starting to sort it in alphabetical order. Like it's just a lot of little nitpicky work. That's kind of a nuisance. I think goals for us is to get more acclimated on our additional sales channels. Those are all like kind of standard easy goals that need to be done. Work on getting better equipment for things. Work on really just general maintenance, shoring up like Darren said, concrete and ideas that we have, goals that we have that we can't necessarily discuss right now, but shoring up plans for all that stuff. As far as like sub goal for YouTube, like 2,000 is, I mean, that needs to happen right away, and then hopefully by the end of the year, I'm closer to like 10,000, and partnered on Twitch, you know, sponsorships on podcast, like stuff that there's a lot of stuff that I have goals on, and it's just about checking one thing off at a time. Dan, what do you got?
So this is not like an immediate goal, and it's something that we're definitely going to have to work for. This is not a personal goal, but like a business goal for me. And it's something I may have mentioned it last week, but I want one day to be at the point where we are doing a studio podcast instead of the three of us sitting at our desks or our kitchen table, and podcasting like we are right now. I would love for one day the three of us to be sitting at the same table with someone else behind a computer and not me, running the stuff for us, and it just be like super duper like professional and look really good. And that's where like those sponsorships come in and all this kind of fun stuff. And it's something I really want, but that comes with time, us having time, and also having money. So yeah. I would like that. As far as personal goals go, there's a lot of events that happen that we don't attend, and kind of the same thing that Danny goes. I want to go to more, also network even more than what I already have been. I also would like to play more next year. I played in 2 tournaments this year, 1 League Cup and 1 Regionals. I dropped both of them. I would like to get 50% of an invite next year. I'm not going to get a full one. I know that. I'm not nearly good enough to do it, and I'm very aware. But if I could get half of one, I'd be proud of myself.
Sweet.
So I just got to hope that, we're not working 16 regionals next year. I mean, I hope that we are, but to get that goal. So.
Cool. All right, so there's some goals. Yeah, very cool. Final question. Let's just take one more. We'll take one more from Ryan Ebert. He said, should I be preparing for standard or expanded with the upcoming season? It seems to be pretty equal with standard and expanded regionals, so what should I prioritize when building a deck?
If you don't know one of them already, prioritize standard.
Ooh. Yeah. I almost thought going in the opposite direction, because I think so many people are going to be prioritizing standard that you might have a better chance in expanded, because a lot of people won't be prioritizing that. But I think the people who, I think expanded is going to be tougher because you have all these better players out there, that have so much experience and years under their belt playing these decks, playing a wide variety of decks. I think that expanded is going to be difficult to kind of, hey, I'm going to attend 7 regionals next year. They're all going to be expanded, so I can get my invite off of that. It's going to be a lot more difficult to make that happen. So I would also say standard, because that's where you're going to get a lot of newer players into the game. You might be able to get some points off of League Cups where they're not as heavily attended by some of the really good players. And then you're not as at a disadvantage with new sets that come out. Like if you've been playing standard a little bit, Sun and Moon just came out, a year and a half ago? Or 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, somewhere around there.
I think it was the November set, right? Or the February.
So if you've been playing a little bit already on that, you kind of are almost at an even playing field with the more experienced players, whereas expanded, you've got to go back, 7, 8 years to get that kind of experience. So I would say standard.
And I agree, standard, because your standard cards will eventually be expanded cards. Standard cards are just more fun because you can open them in packs. It's a lot harder to find, like Plasma Blast packs to open, which they're fun to open if you can find them, of course. But And buying standard cards, buying standard decks, practicing standard. Honestly, you can bring a standard deck to an expanded tournament and buy a computer search, and you'll do fine for the
Yeah,
most
you
part.
will. Definitely will.
I would almost be interested in to see like how many more, quote professional players do well at expanded regionals. Like, what's the percentage of professional players versus non-professional players in day two at an expanded regionals versus at a standard? I don't know the answer to this. It's just something that came to mind when we talked about. I would bet it's much higher at an expanded regional than it is a standard. Because like less players, harder format, more cards. Like
Mhm.
I don't know the number obviously. Mr. Robot Shemansky, find that out for me. I bet he already knows. He's probably already done that research.
Likely, honestly.
But it's like it's tough. I think that yeah, we've already said it all.
Whoops. All right. Well, with that, we can move into our buy sell trade of the week. We're moving on, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. So I only bought one thing, but it was a big thing, and I've got some of it here. So what I bought was like a lot of master sets. So this is Fates Collide. I really got to figure out like I got to get more binders because I did put some in binders already. This is Evolutions, and then I've got Ancient Origins. It had like this Sun and Moon Trainer kit in it, and um, Team Rocket theme decks, Trouble and Devastation, which is pretty cool.
Whoa!
And then I've got, so this is what's in binders already. So this is Forbidden Light, which I don't think that this is not a complete master set, but it's pretty close, and we definitely have the cards to make it a complete master set. So I'll be doing that. And then over here is Burning Shadows, which is the big one, because it's got the. Can you see this? The Zard up there?
Raise it up.
Hopefully you can
There
see.
we go.
It's got the Zard. It's got the Guzma. It's got Acerola, obviously. Some more expensive cards than the Secret Rare Choice Band. The Fairy Energy is super hype, and Dark Energy, Fire Energy. Those Secret Rare Energies are very expensive. And then over here, I've got. This is Ultra Prism. This is complete. This one's fairly expensive because you have these two gold cards in the back, which are Lunala and Solgaleo. Those are expensive cards. Um, I don't think I'll go through everything here because it's just too much and it's falling and making a lot of noise. Guardians Rising, obviously an expensive set because of Lele's. And then you've got the Golden Double Colorless, Field Blower Secret Rare. There's basically, so it's all the Sun and Moon sets and then everything from, I think, Ancient Origins on. So it was a really, really good lot. And then there was a lot of extras in there that I got for a really good price. Uh, I'm very happy with it, and now it just gets to making them look very attractive. Maybe I'll do a video on it, and then we'll probably try and move them pretty quick, and invest in more things that will be super profitable like this. So that's it.
Awesome.
And then they're not 3-ring binders, Papa. I actually had him make sure that he didn't ship them in 3-ring binders. They're either Ultra Pro or they came loose, so that way I could put them in Ultra Pro binders. Other than that, I don't really have anything for open discussion other than just keep staying tuned. We appreciate all the support that you guys have given us, and we've got a lot of good stuff coming up. So just keep hoping for us and cheering for us, and you guys are awesome. Hopefully we can keep this thing going really strong, carry momentum on. So with that, one of you guys can go into open discussion.
I actually don't have much either. The real thing I would say, and Danny already said it, is unless something comes up, we're going to be live streaming every single episode on twitch.tv/deaddrawgaming. So you can kind of see some of the things we're talking about on screen, along with us just talking about them, plus Darren's beautiful face.
Ooh.
And then, get to be a part of the conversation that we're having live. Other than that, you guys, hashtag Ask DDG. We'll be taking this segment every single week. The DDG, Ask Amy. So that's all I really have as far as open discussion is concerned.
Nice. Open discussion for me. I'm working on a couple podcast extras, a couple side casts. So we have a deep dive coming this week, and then I'm putting together a patron cast that I got from a former patron. But if you're a current patron on patreon.com, get in touch with me. I want to record with you. I want to edit it, and I want to put it up on our SoundCloud. So come to me and record with me. That's all I have. That's all I
Don't
have.
you have an unlimited tournament this week too? Did you say that already?
I'm gonna win it.
No, I didn't.
I'm gonna win it.
So, if you live in the area or feel like traveling to my sanctioned unlimited tournament that rewards no CP, we're doing that on Sunday. It's registration starts at noon, and there are no banned cards. None. I'm not doing deck lists. It's gonna be fun.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Wow.
win.
Cool.
Gonna be good time.
Haymaker? No, I'm not playing Haymaker. Way better. Decidueye Donk trump card.
All right. Well, I
The-
think that's everything that we have, and we can end this under 2 minutes or 2 hours. Sorry, 2 minutes.
We're not
so
even close to 2 hours, so well be good.
Right.
But
Well,
Yeah, it's awesome.
and Dan, you can take us home.
I'm playing Night March. But all right, you guys. Oh my gosh. How do I start my outro again?
All right, you guys.
89, huh? 89 episodes.
All right, you guys, if you enjoyed episode number 89 of Dead Draw Gaming like no one ever was, make sure to hit the like button down below. Share this podcast with all your friends. Hit the follow button if you're watching on Twitch and you haven't done so already. That's all we have for you guys this week. Make sure to join us for episode number 90, which will also be live on twitch.tv/deaddrawgaming. But that's everything right now. So, for Darren, for Danny, I am Dan. We will see you next time.